This is the only way to escape from Alcatraz. It's considered by many to be the most secure prison in the world, housing some of the most notorious criminals. But what if I told you there was a way to beat the system? This escape will require careful planning and coordination, but with the right team, it just might work. Here's how to escape from Alcatraz. Step 1, find your crew. You can't do this alone. First, you'll need to assemble your team. You want people with unique skill sets who are also unflappable under pressure. A leader, someone cool-headed and able to make quick decisions. A demolition expert, someone who knows their way around explosives and lockpicking. A navigator, someone who can read maps and navigate complex environments. And finally, an engineer, someone who can come up with creative solutions to problems as they arise. Once you have your team assembled, it's time to start planning. You'll need to know the layout of the prison like the back of your hand. For that, you need to get in the good graces of one of the guards. Guards tend to look the other way when it comes to contraband if the prisoners behave and things go smoothly. They don't want to stick their necks out. If you can make life easier for them or provide some sort of benefit, they may be more willing to turn a blind eye. Now, I'm not suggesting that you become best friends with the guards, but forming some sort of alliance could prove useful. Now, it's time to put your plan into action. Your demolition expert will need to get their hands on some supplies to create a diversion. Your navigator will need to familiarize themselves with the prison layout, perhaps memorizing map coordinates. Meanwhile, the engineer will be working on a device that can pick the locks on the cell doors. And as for you, you'll be working on finding the blind spot in the security system. This is the part where you ingratiate yourself with the guards. Work as a team to find the weak link in the security system. Where's the guard stationed? When they're on break, which route has the least amount of cameras? What time of day is it least busy? Use whatever means necessary to find the blind spot. Bribery, flattery, intimidation, whatever it takes. Once you have your answer, the pieces of the puzzle will start to fall into place. Your first order of business will be to disable the prison's alarm system. If you alert the authorities before you're ready, your escape attempt will be compromised and you could face the wrath of the guards. No one wants to get tasered or shot at. The last thing you want is to give away your position. So take the time to do this right. Once the coast is clear, your demolition expert can put their plan into action. Now is the time for theatrics. Create a diversion that will attract the attention of the guards, something big enough to draw them away from their posts. Perhaps an explosion or a fire. Just make sure it's not something that will cause too much damage. You don't want to trigger the sprinkler system or cause structural damage to the prison. You just want to attract the attention of the guards and lead them away from your location. While they're distracted, your navigator will lead your team through the prison's layout. Every second counts, so make sure to stay on task. Don't get distracted by shiny objects or make any unnecessary stops. You're on a mission and time is of the essence. If you need to pass through any locked doors, that's where your engineer comes in handy. They should be able to pick the locks without setting off any alarms. And once you're all outside, you're gonna need a vehicle. If you have a car waiting for you, great. Hop in and speed away into the sunset. Just make sure you have a full tank of gas. If you don't have a car, then you need to hotwire one. This is where your engineer's skills come in handy again. They should be able to hotwire a car and have it up and running in no time. Now, if you're feeling really adventurous, you could try stealing a police car. Just make sure you disable the siren. The last thing you want is to lead the police on a high-speed chase. Unless you're Michael Mann, there's no way you're getting away from them. And as for the rest of your team, they should be able to make it to a predetermined meeting point. From there, you can all regroup and decide your next move. It's important to have a plan in place for when you escape. You don't want to just run around like a headless chicken. Know where you're going and have a backup plan, just in case your primary escape route is compromised. Consider factors like how much time you have before the authorities realize what's happening and how far you can realistically travel before you're caught. Will you head north, south, east, or west? Do you have any allies outside the prison walls who can help you lay low? Will you go off the grid and disappear from society, or do you have somewhere safe to hide until the heat dies down? Come up with a comprehensive plan that covers all angles, and you'll be sure to increase your chances of success. To aid in your escape, you can smuggle in some items that will help you blend in. If you can bring in clothing that isn't prison issue, you'll be able to disguise yourself as a regular citizen. You can also bring in some cash. Have each member of your team bring in as much as they can, and pool your resources once you're out. You'll need money to bribe your way onto ferries and buses or to pay for plane tickets. Make sure to also bring in some fake IDs. These can be purchased online, and they can help you avoid detection when booking transportation or making purchases. And finally, bring in some food and water. You never know how long you'll be on the run, and you don't want to be caught without sustenance. Of course, these items will need to be smuggled in one way or another, which is easier said than done. But if you're willing to put in the work, it could greatly aid in your escape. It's important to remember that escaping from Alcatraz is no easy feat. In fact, it's never been done successfully. But if you have a well-thought-out plan and a team of skilled individuals, anything is possible. Just make sure to do your research, plan ahead, and be prepared for any eventuality. And with that in mind, let's discuss how you can ensure your escape goes off without a hitch. Planning is key, and you need to make sure every detail is covered. What will you do if the prison's alarm system is triggered? How will you respond if the guards become suspicious? What will you do if you're injured during the escape? Having a plan in place for these potential roadblocks will help you stay calm and collected no matter what happens. Another important consideration is communication. How will you communicate with your team members once you're outside the prison? Will you use walkie-talkies or cell phones? Make sure to have a reliable method of communication so you can coordinate your movements and stay safe. And finally, don't forget to have a proper escape route planned out. This should include your primary route and several backups in case your primary route is compromised. Knowing exactly how you'll get out of the prison and where you'll go once you're free will help ensure a smooth and successful escape. But what if things don't go according to plan? What if you're caught trying to escape? Well, that's where having a lawyer on retainer comes in handy. A good lawyer will be able to negotiate with the authorities on your behalf and hopefully secure you a more lenient sentence. Or if all else fails, your lawyer will be able to mount a defense and hopefully convince the jury that you were innocent. No one wants to go to prison, let alone Alcatraz. So take the time to plan your escape carefully and follow these tips to ensure a successful getaway. With a little bit of luck, you could be the first person to ever successfully escape from Alcatraz.